What's up, everybody? Professor Live. Today I want to walk you guys through how to dribble between the defender's legs. Now I want to demo this move for 3 different reasons. Number one, a lot of people ask about it often. They're like, how do you keep going between your defender's legs? Number two, you guys see me do it all the time on this YouTube channel, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I do it multiple times, sometimes with a defender. I do it as a standalone move. You've seen it a bunch. The third reason, and I would say even more so the main reason, is because I want people to know there's strategy actually involved in hitting your defender between the legs, once or multiple times. Oftentimes the assumption is the defender is either letting me do it or they're just a horrible defender because I'm able to go through their legs either once or multiple times, which is not true. It's all about the strategy that weighs in. All right, so check it out. Okay, so to begin with on this move, there's 2 ways to go about it. Number one, I can come down and I can try to make the defender turn a way that I want him in order to go between the legs. It's always better off going between the legs when the defender is turned at an angle, because if he's at an angle, this is an easier throw through. If he's straight up and I try to go between the legs, now I'm having to run all the way around him to get it, okay? You don't want that type of between the legs move, okay? So I can either do a move to change him the way I want him to so it's easier, or I can just take what he gives me. Meaning, if I come down on the break and he's already forcing me away, now I don't have to make him change to a position where the between the legs would work. It would naturally work because he's already at an angle. When I play, I compete hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm playing against good players, playing against anybody. But it's about entertainment. So I'm going to try to make them change the way I want them to be. And majority of times, people play me expecting a move. So they're either going to sag off or they're going to play me straight up, and so I have to turn them. Okay, here's where the strategy comes in. It's in how do I go about making the defender turn at an angle the way I need him to in order to go between his legs, okay? There's a few different ways. One way is, and people don't weigh this in, is that you have to be a threat to go to the basket. So if he's playing me pretty much straight up right here, the way I can make him turn is act like I'm gonna go to the basket. I could give a stiff leg crossover, boom, okay? Immediately he has to respect that I may go to the basket. He has to turn like that. Now sometimes if I come back, may he step back the way he was? That might happen. But oftentimes, a defender stays glued in that position. You just have to react to the defender, see what's there, okay? Or I may do something, play straight up again. I may come down, give an in and out crossover, boom, pull back, okay? Something like that. Now he switches position, okay? Something like that. Now, let's say the defender sags off you, and they play like that, okay? How do I make him go the way I want him to? Well, there's a couple different ways. Being that he sag off, I could dribble into him, okay? I can come right up to him, then try to have the action closer to the basket. Or, here's the key that a lot of people miss. You need to be able to make a jump shot, okay? Oftentimes when I play defenders, they're not even going to give me that much room because they know that if they do, thanks, appreciate it, okay? You got to be able to hit the jump shot. I mean, that goes for all moves in making your opponent react, okay? But that's what's missing a lot of times. These players aren't dumb. They know that I don't hit the jump shot, so they can't be too far back. They know that they have to respect me going to the basket, because if not, guess what? I'll just hesitate and go to the basket and lay it up. So they have to move. So the key is on this, if you're going to make your opponent shift, you got to put him in a position where he has to respect the jump shot, he has to respect you going to the basket. He ain't got no choice but to let you go between the legs and take the L. If I'm playing somebody who's of decent, college or pro level caliber and going between their legs, that's why it's actually able to happen, because they realize at the end of the day, the basket's important, okay? So they'll take the L on the between the legs because they're not stopping the drive and they're not stopping the jump shot. So that's the strategy that weighs in. If you come down the court and he's already in an angle, say he's already forcing me right, if he's already here, it's pretty standard, okay? Now let me show you the handwork up close. Here is the footwork and handwork that becomes key, okay? If I force him, boom, to change his stance, okay, right here, and I want to go between the legs, normally what I'll do is I'll try to get it in between there pretty dang quick. Once I realize if I pull back, he might come back to the regular position, okay? So boom, he's down there. I want to go pretty quick. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here, but here's a major key. You can't just throw it through between the legs. That's too telegraphed. It's too obvious for him to read, okay? The key is to go boom, give a couple dribbles to throw them off, act like you're doing something else, then you drop it between their legs, okay? Your timing has to be really good on this, and you have to sell to the defender that you're not even thinking about that. Like a defender can know that I like to go between the legs, but I have to get his mind off that. How do I do that? Well, let's change his position, boom. Let's look at the hoop, in and out, boom, boom, okay? I might do something quick like that. I can't say there's an exact science to it, but I think the key is to distract the opponent from thinking about you dribbling between the legs, and then that's when you do it, okay? Some of the best players at this, you look at Bone Collector, Ayo, Hot Sauce, guys in the past that were really good at this move, they had great timing, and they're great at distracting their defender from thinking about them going between the legs. If I wanted to go through the defender's legs multiple times, it's the same thing. You hit him with it once, okay? But look, I make him play me an angle. I hit him with it once, boom. Now we're over here. What am I doing? I need to make him think maybe I'm going to shoot. Then maybe I'm going to drive. Boom. Then maybe I'll go again, okay? It's all about keeping the defender occupied and not thinking about going between the legs. And most of the time, it's unorthodox to play somebody who does this. And I've been on the other side where somebody went between my legs once or multiple times. What we're trying to do is distract the defender from thinking you're going between the legs, but you have to shift him in a position where you're able to do so. Now, oftentimes, I'll pull this back and bring it back as a combo move where I'm set up to do something else. Or the other alternative is, if he's forcing me one way, come up, go between the legs, and just go straight to the basket for a layup. Now, do I think this move can be effective in a regular game setting? Yeah, it could. But here's the thing. Most coaches aren't going to trust their players to be able to do this. You know, if I'm coaching a high school team, I'm probably not going to trust my high school point guard to be able to do this, okay? A lot of my stuff is catered toward entertainment. And I could do this effectively in a game, but, you know, it's a different story, you know? And I'm trying to get the crowd excited. But at the end of the day, a lot of people wanted me to walk them through this, so ultimately that's how you go between the legs. That's how it's done multiple times, and it can be done against all players at all levels. It's just a lot of strategy that weighs into it. If you telegraph and just try to go between your defender's legs and just throw it with no strategy, it's going to be tough. Like, yeah, that could work sometimes once, but it's not going to be as smooth as you want it to. All right? So appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay tuned for more tutorials.